The next question is for all three, and I think Alma will start with you. What is your position on stem cell research and the restrictions that are being proposed now?
I supported the stem cell research ballot. I worked hard to make sure that it was passed. I would have supported legislation in the House had it ever been brought to the floor, but it wasn't. I opposed the Tom George legislation that would restrict the lines that we can research, and I think that's all people need to know. So,
Bird?
I support unfettered stem cell research. I supported the ballot proposal, and both for obvious humanitarian reasons, for the healthcare reasons, that people can be helped with diseases that can be cured, and then also for the economic development aspect of it. There's an incredible, as I mentioned, bioscience in Lansing. We have the MBI and a lot of other bioscience developing up around Michigan State in the Lansing area, and I'm sure here as well around the university. The potential to attract world-class scientists is enormous there, and so we need to get government, get politics out of the way, and bring in that science and bring in that economic development and jobs.
Dan?
I agree with both previous comments, and here's the thing. This is one of those issues that defines the differences between the people running for office. It defines the difference between Democrats and Republicans, and it defines the difference between some Democrats and some other Democrats. The three of us share this view. The next candidate to jump in this race does not. And I think that's an important point. The next Democrat to jump in this race does not share that view, that life-affirming view. This is not some esoteric question to me. My wife, who was given me full permission to discuss her story, she said, tell my story, and my daughter both care more about this than any two people I've ever known. My wife gets up every day wondering how she's going to do. My wife has multiple sclerosis. My daughter is a diabetic who uses an insulin pump. 17-year-old girl gets up every day and enters a life that's different than the one that her friends get to live. You know, and to me, it's not my wife and my daughter only. It's all sorts of people in Michigan that are Democrats, that are Republicans, that are independents, that don't care about politics, that get up every day and are rightfully offended when public officials take postures and positions on something so critical as the quality of the daily life of somebody who could be helped when science meets medicine. It's enormously frustrating, I think, to a lot of people. I mean, my household, when you hear the term stem cells on the TV or on the radio, it's almost like hearing my own name. We click in, you know. We listen carefully, because this is a really important issue. And so, I think what you'll see, and what's interesting to me is now in the legislature, think about this. The people of Michigan have spoken on this subject. By referendum, said that continued aggressive research in this important area of science and medicine is not only consistent with our values, but as the mayor said, also gives us an economic opportunity. I mean, it's not very far from here that tremendous research, more research could be done if Michigan fully embraced this notion, right? Our stated values as a people, not by some poll, but by an election, says this is the direction we want to go. And so what's happening in Lansing? Some, even some within our own party, rather than dealing with the fundamental question of putting Michigan back to work in the middle of the worst economic crisis in our lifetime, are pandering to narrow interests because they want to somehow align themselves with people who will maybe support or mollify them as they run for election. To me, this is offensive. It's offensive.
Alma, we have an individual question for you. I think